stir one. Pippa McDonald turned her pony Snowdrop towards the last jump, a solid red and white wall. Snowdrop pricked up her ears. She snorted with excitement and sped up. "Steady, girl," Pippa said, pulling gently on the reins. None of the other riders had jumped a clean round, but Pippa and Stardust were the last to go, and if they cleared the wall, they would win the competition. And take home a silver cup and blue ribbon. As the wall came closer, Pippa forced back the nervous fluttery feeling in her stomach. "We can do this," she whispered to Snowdrop. She leaned forward, standing straight up in her stirrups, loosening the reins as she pushed her pony to the jump. Snowdrop leaped over it eagerly, carrying it and Pippa upwards. For a magical moment, it felt like they were flying. As any fear of heights simply slipped away, fresh air rushed at Pippa's face, lifting her dark, wavy hair that was held neatly in place by a hairnet. Snowdrop cleared the wall, happily flicking her tail as she landed. "Yeah!" Pippa shouted, galloping Snowdrop over the finish line. The crowd cheered and screamed, but one voice shouted louder than the rest, "Pippa! Are you awake? It's time to go!" Pippa jolted out of her dream, nearly falling out of her bed as Snowdrop dropped the show jumping area and the cheering crowds all vanished. She blinked and stared at the small bedroom she shared with her big sister Miranda. It was easy to see which side was Pippa's. Her wall was decorated with pictures of ponies, big ones, small ones, black ones, brown ones, chestnut ones, roan ones, palominos, and gray ones. Pippa's favorite color of all was a picture of a gray horse named Snowdrop with deep brown eyes. Miranda's sign used to have horse pictures too, but now it was covered with posters of boys. Some were famous movie stars, and some were in bands. Both sisters thought the other one's decorations were silly. "Are you ready, sweetheart?" Mom asked in the doorway. "Almost, Mama," Pippa called out, jumping off and following her mom downstairs. "Did you remember to pack my bathing suit?" "Of course, dear," Mom said, smiling. "Now get ready." It was boiling hot, and Pippa was glad that she, her mom, Miranda, and their little brother Jack were all going on vacation, trading in their apartment in the city for a cottage by the sea. Pippa was so excited she trotted up and down the pavement, riding an imaginary pony as she waited for Mom to unlock the car so they can unload luggage into the trunk. "You're so immature," Miranda said, rolling her eyes as she climbed to the front seat. "Oh my gosh, what a bitch." Sorry. Mom snapped Jack to his car seat, and Pippa took the usual seat behind her brother. "And we're off!" Pippa said. Dreamily, Pippa stared out the window, watching the busy city streets change from green fields filled with horses, cows, and sheep until last they wound right at their vacation home. "Wow! Is this all ours?" Pippa exclaimed as Mom pulled up at a small white cottage surrounded by a huge yard. "I could have a pony if I lived here enough." Yes, the yard's big enough for him," Mom agreed, digging in her handbag for the key to the front door. The cottage was right by the water. Pippa breathed deeply, loving the smell of fresh, salty air dance against the wind. "Can we go to the beach?" she asked. Mom laughed at her impatience. Honey, let's unpack the car first. If we're going to the beach, you will want to take your buckets and shovels so you can make a castle. I'll help, Pippa said, pulling her bag out from the trunk. The cottage was even prettier inside. Pippa loved the bedroom attic, even though she had to share it with Marina. It was had swapping walls and a sea view. And much to Pippa's delight, there was an old horseshoe nailed to one of the beams. Horseshoes are lucky, she said happily. Pippa darted down the stairs into the kitchen where Mom was searching their luggage for a bag of food. We can have a picnic on the beach, she said, packing sandwiches, cupcakes, apples, and sodas into a picnic basket. So the gate at the back of the yard opened onto a winding path that led down the sea. Pippa was too excited to walk. Instead, she galloped down the path, pretending to be a wild stallion until she reached the horse-shaped comb. Pippa stared and wondered at the golden sand and blue, sparkling water stretching away from her. The comb felt so secret and special, it made Pippa's insides buzz with excitement. It's magic! She whispered softly. Pulling off her sandals, she ran across the powdery sand to the sea, where tiny white crusted waves were licking the shore. Just as Pippa was about to paddle into the water, she noticed something far away. What was that at the mouth of the cove? Pippa stared in amazement at two playful animals splashing in the water. They looked like seahorses. Pippa raised her arm to shield her eyes from the sun so she could take a better look. They really did look like seahorses. They were almost as big as real horses. With gracefully curved necks bobbing above the water, and long spines sticking up along spiky manes. One horse was pale pink, while the other was green with dark freckles on his face. Pippa blinked and rubbed her eyes. Was she blinked and rubbed her eyes. Was she imagining things? When she looked there, the two animals were still there, splashing in the water at each other with their curled tails. Behind her, Pippa could hear Mom, Miranda, and Jack all laughing as they made their way to the beach. Quick, guys, she called, waving at them. Look at this. What is it, sweetheart? Mom asked. Sweet horses! Seahorses! Pippa explained. Where? I don't see any horses. No, not sea horses. Sea horses, Marina exclaimed. And how can you see a tiny little seahorse from here? No, they're giant ones, Pippa said. I can't see anything, Mom said, staring out to the sea. Marina giggled as she ran over. I see him. That red one has a hat on his head. Pippa's heart leaped as she and then sank right to her bare toes. Marina was teasing her. Besides, the sea was empty now, and the seahorse had disappeared. I did see two seahorses, Pippa insisted. They were playing together. Don't be silly, Pip. There's no such thing as a giant seahorse. Seahorses are small animals, Marina said meanly. Pippa, you're too big for that sort of make-believe, Mom said gently. Come along now, sweetheart. Help me set up the picnic. Pippa gazed out to sea. There was nothing except happy little seagulls gliding over the bay. But the seahorses were real. Pippa knew. She hadn't met him. Confused, she hurried after Mom. Do I have to eat now? She asked. I want to go in the water first. Go ahead, dear, Mom said, but be careful. Don't go in deeper than your knees. Pippa ran back to the water's edge. The sea was lovely and warm. She laid it out until she was knee deep. The water was so clear, and she could still see her feet. Pippa wiggled her toes in the soft, shimmering sand. "Ooh," she said, "that tickles." Two tiny seahorses were swimming around in her feet. Wow, this place is full of seahorses. She bent down. For a closer look. The moment her fingers touched the water, they began to tingle. The feeling was so incredible that Pippa felt like it was some kind of magic. Gently, she motioned one of her fingers to get one of the seahorses to swim up to her hand. The tiny animal was almost there when suddenly, with a loud whoosh, the water rose up in the shape of a head and front legs of a galloping horse. "Ah!" Pippa screamed. Two giant seahorses popped through the water and examined Pippa with their big eyes. "You are real!" she exclaimed. "I knew I hadn't imagined it." Pippa waded closer to the giant creatures and gently stroked their noses. "Your name, Pippa, is short for Philippa, which means lover of ponies," said the girl seahorse. "That's right," Pippa said. She couldn't believe she was talking to a giant seahorse. "Then you are the one," said the boy seahorse. "My name's Rosella," said the girl seahorse. "And this is my friend Tryon. We come to take you to a place that needs your help." With a flick of her pink tail, Rosella scooped Pippa up, placing her gently on her back. Then both seahorses surged through the foamy water. "Hey, where are we going?" Pippa asked. "To Shabella," said Rosella.